Orofo Mama Kwaba. Kahu say latest and hot news. And I'm a bro. And say we now subscribe ya. Bomodia say over subscribe to channel. Na while like video no give us a thumbs up na fi share na wo foforo so enye bi hwe na wani hu ensemo a ekoso ewo Ghana memo hanom afi yehwe eye ensemo a abeto epono so eye NPP New Patriotic Party na no eye flag bearer aspirant wani nyina de wani sa kwhye eye peace pact ase te say wana konsensai krata serebe ya asumdwe baba yeto abana basa yone pinche bia entimi bana wani tima ye campaign asumdwe mu na te say 2028 election wani timi di ahihye so na no akoye sembebre amanfo bebre na akasetia eye peace party wani de wani sa ekwhyase ye no MP for na bi kra te say hu hia kra say wani be sign na we na eye TV3 eye panelist baako a ono so watchere na dwen efa eye de course wo hodom na watchere say the fact that Marcos inside Grata and Chese Asumio, I see Nipana or critical problem a NPP party. And in another one of this hang, you may win about our party. And no, they to just say, Asumie any wickedness, any tracker. Now, in a course so a year, people bem 8 years at the moment, near 1 year, and no air kutia woman. Na ya branchi wade and semi brinara and a 2 yana and tentamara yonkutie a year and somewhere a year a branchi elutu yonkutie in some intensive.
This event is basically supposed to kind of get things back on track. I mean, we all watched the event on television, and Doc has already made reference to some of the things. Do you think the party was better off today than it was prior to yesterday's event?
Let me say that I don't have a dog in that fight. So, I will be careful things that I will say. But you see, unfortunately for them, the problem of the party was in the meeting. The party's problem was in the meeting. He even spoke.
There's a human being who is the
problem of the party. Yeah, he even spoke. Why the solution was somewhere. I mean, I didn't see the solution. The man who could be the solution was not in the room. But the problem is himself was in the room. You know, Akufo Addo is the problem of the party. He has created all this mess in the party. And so I was surprised I didn't see President Akufo. I don't know if he was not there because of maybe certain reason, I don't know. But he should have been there. If you're really having a problem and you need someone to rally the party, to be the glue that will bring the party together, it should be President Akufo, not an Akufo Addo. So I don't know why they chose to even let him speak at the meeting. But you see, NPP is not, or NPP has not become a ramshackle party, not because of what is happening in their campaign. It's because of the things they did in the 8 years Ghanaians gave them power to govern this country. The kind of things they did is what has made the party very unpopular and unattractive. What is happening in the party is normal. Except that sometimes you may recall some excesses, but I mean, it is not anything different. And they have to understand that peace doesn't come just by signing documents. And I don't know why they chose the phrase peace pact. Because peace and wickedness cannot coexist. Let me take you to the Bible. This morning. If you are listening to me and you have your Bible, let's go to Isaiah 57 verse 20 to 21. Isaiah 57 verse 20 to 21. I'm using New King James Version. The Bible says, "But the wicked are like the troubled sea, when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and death. There is no peace, says my God, for the wicked." The wicked may strive for peace, but according to the Bible, every word here is very carefully, captured. That the wicked are like the troubled sea, when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and death. Mire means garbage and death. There's no peace, says my God, for the wicked. Now, I said NPP is suffering not because of what is happening in this campaign, but because of the things they did. In the 2020 elections, for example, 8 people were killed. So Ronaldo became president on those blood, the blood of innocent people. What did they do about it? Nothing. And when Dr. Bawumia was questioned, who happened to be the chairman of the police council, when he was questioned about it, he completely got lost in the question. He was fumbling all over the place. What did they do? If this is wickedness, then the wicked can never know peace. According to the Bible, so I'm not the one saying it. If the collapse of the banks, people who have toiled to establish banks, developed banks, out of hatred, envy, and jealousy, some group of people decided that let's collapse these banks. And they did collapse the banks. To the extent that even one bank, when that bank was collapsed, the office the bank occupied, immediately the bank was collapsed. I'm talking about UT Bank. The one who collapsed the bank, his institution took over that office. I'm talking about Data Bank. Immediately after the collapse of UT Bank, Data Bank occupied us. If that is wickedness, then the wicked, according to the Bible, cannot know peace.
So as far as you are concerned, what is happening in the NPP now is because of how the party governs.
The things they did. Okay. They did DEP. How innocent people who have made savings towards their future after 60 years, how those people were treated. Some died as a result of the fact that they could not buy medicine for themselves. If that is wickedness, and which I believe is wickedness, then according to the Bible, Isaiah chapter 57, verse 21, he said, there's no peace, says my Lord, for the wicked. And so they should sit down well, properly, and look at the root cause of their problems. Because if you look at the things they've done in the past, look at the level of corruption we experience as a nation. Unprecedented level of corruption in this country. And we think people didn't suffer as a result of this corruption. People who had paid taxes to this country, innocent people who should have had opportunity to have good hospitals, good classrooms, I mean, good roads. People died because of poor road accidents. People died because of the fact that they couldn't even access hospitals. And all these things are wickedness. And the Bible says there's no peace for the wicked. And so if they really want to solve their problem, they should go back to the same Bible and see what can be done. What does the Bible say about how to overcome the troubles in your party, how to enjoy peace? Okay. Because my belief is that, and listen to what Afenyo Markin said. He said, opposition is painful and lonely. Wow. You have been in opposition 1 year and it's painful and lonely. I'm just thinking about the pain and loneliness of people who lost their parents because of the DEP. I'm just thinking about loneliness and painful situation of those who lost their livelihood because of the collapse of the banks. So I'm saying that I don't know, and listen to them. I wonder whether they had this so-called peace pact because they think it will help them to win the election, or because you just want to have some peace in their party as they continue to languish in opposition for a long time. But I think NPP has a long way to go. I don't want to mention even what they did to Mr. Alan Kyeremanteng. The chain was broken. The chain from Edubwain to Kufo to Nado himself promising Alan, that chain was broken. And it could be a source of problem for the party. And I believe that is another weakness that will make the wicked not know peace. And therefore, as I said, I don't have a dog in the fight or a horse in that race. And all that I can say is that they should do, if they want to enjoy peace, if they want to enjoy unity, and they should do things properly. If you look at the way this election is being conducted, I mean, from the word go, it's been rigged already. And if you look at the history of the party, the same thing was done to favor Akufo Addo. That is how Akufo Addo took over the party completely. After the 2008 elections.
Let's stay on this upcoming.
No. I'm giving you history. You know, I told you I used to be a member of that party, so I know some things in the party. After 2008 elections, the constitutional party was touched. That's where they introduced the special delegates and all that, the expansion and all that. It was touched to favor one man, and Akufo Addo. After 2024, the constitution has been touched again to favor another person. And I'm saying that this election has been rigged already. Ken and Co are trying their best to see if they can change the status quo. But I'm telling you, it's been rigged already. I mean, the D-Day, if they don't even do anything, if they don't even rig, D-Day, maybe 30% rigging can take place. But if they don't even do that, I see Dr. Bawumia winning, not because he's the suitable candidate. I have advised NPP before through an article that I wrote in 1st January 2021. Why would NPP want to commit political suicide? That was the title of the article.
Okay.
And it still stands. The article still stands. The same question. Why would NPP want to commit political suicide? If they don't choose the right candidate, of course, 30% will be difficult for them.
Okay. Let me come to Mr. Jantua now. And Mr. Jantua, what are your thoughts on what transpired yesterday? Important event?
The signing. Good morning to our viewers.
Good morning.
What can I say? After such a defeat of 2024 elections, I asked myself, is this just a charade of deception to make it look as if they are all together? Because I ask myself, they're in the same party. Are they acquaintances or are they friends? Because irrespective of the fact that you are standing for competition, you don't talk about each other the way they're talking about each other. And so, are they just trying to show Ghanaians that irrespective of the election loss we had, we are united? Is that what they're telling us? I find it very difficult. Because, you know, in as much as I would question AB about his position and what he's doing with regards to the position he's got, I won't go and stand somewhere and defame his name. I won't. If I have anything that I don't understand about him, I will go to him and sit with him and discuss it with him and not bring it out in public. What was Ken's outburst? Something to do with Dubois, right?
Yes.
And that Dr. Bawumia said something out of turn, right?
He claimed Dr. Bawumia had said that. I mean, Dr. Bawumia's camp have said he never said that at any point in time. It was known to me rather who had made those comments.
So they both of them have handled high offices in this country. Are you telling me that Ken or former Vice President Bawumia could not sit and discuss this between the two of them? That it needed to come out the way it came out? Is that what you're telling me? Are they in their own party? Are they opposition? The last time they had a press conference, didn't they?
Yes.
With regards to, what was it again? They had a press conference on that, you know, everybody said, what's this press conference
on the issue related to the foreign minister.
Yes, foreign minister. But with this, they could have, you know, talked amongst themselves, especially with how many days to the election? A few days. 31st, isn't it?
Yes.
So in order not to rock the boat, because of where they stand now as a political party, and because of the number of people they have within Parliament alone, and the fact that confidence in the NPP has dwindled because of some of the things they did when they were in power, they shouldn't wash this kind of linen outside, even if you disagree. So I see it as they are acquaintances, and they would cut each other's throat to win. Now, peace agreement. When has peace agreements worked in this country? When, even for the general election, when peace agreements are signed, some obey, some don't obey. So when has it worked? So how do they think this will work? The duty of the party is to go down into the grassroots to find out why there are these types of challenges within the party and solve it. And solve it. Because there are some hunchos in the NPP who would support a particular candidate and support that particular candidate at the expense of others. Yes, I understand you can support, but some of the machinations that go on, that discredit others within that circle, sometimes can be heart-wrenching. For me, the major challenge I see, and I hope it doesn't happen, I hope they would have learned from the defeat, and I hope it doesn't happen, that monocracy will play a huge role. I hope it doesn't happen. Because if it does play a huge role, then that is where you will see the viciousness of each other. We don't need that at this particular moment. We need them to be able to build a strong opposition. Because in Ghana, we don't need one-party state. We do not need one-party state. We want a situation where we have a very strong opposition taking the government in power, making sure that they're doing the right thing. At this present moment, where the NPP stands, it's important that they unite. And I don't think it is peace signing that will unite them, because there are cracks within the party itself that they are not solving. There's this perception, and Ebo kind of alluded to it. There's this perception that whatever the case may be, Dr. Bawumia will win. That's the perception. Right now, we are being told that Ken too is galloping and he seems to have taken the lead. If it so happens that that expectation of Ken probably in the lead, if he doesn't win, do you know the kind of things that are going to come out? And I hope if even things come out, it's not going to be anything about money, that some paid more than others. I hope that doesn't happen. But I wish them all well. And I hope 31st December, there's no argy-bargy, there's no violence, there's nothing like that, and they can all embrace whoever wins. And I wish them good luck.
Let me come to AB, and I mean, Mr. Doctor made a point about some of the things that have been said, and I alluded to what Kennedy Agyapong said about Dr. Bawumia. He said, quote, "I have never seen a liar like our former flag bearer before. This man is a liar for saying that Edubuahin did not contest because he was sick. In the first place, the man didn't even make the statement, but he went after him this way. You come around the table, you sign a peace pact. What if Bawumia wins tomorrow? This is basically fodder for the NDC to feed on. It will be very difficult for the NPP to now all rally behind because of some of these comments. You agree with that?"
The press conference rather is on Monday for the Ghana Law Society.
Okay.
It's not today.
Yes.
So I want to make that correction.
Okay.
I've been corrected. Conflict has caused havoc in the NPP. The NPP today is akin to a wrecked ship. If you've seen how a ship is wrecked, NPP looks like that today. The seed of conflict was sown the very first day that the National Council accepted the proposal to maintain the same delegates who voted in the last elections to be the delegates in this election. That was the beginning. That decision skewed the upcoming election in favor of the former Vice President Bawumia. That singular decision skewed because the other candidates did not have the opportunity to campaign at the grassroots to get those delegates elected to become the electoral college. And we all know that when party reorganization begins, persons who want to be president,
they start mobilizing
from the ground.
Yeah.
So that has cut them off completely. So it has been skewed. And Bawumia will win 31st. Is about the percentage, the gap, that is what maybe the other candidates are trying to narrow. But he will win because these are the same delegates. Because it's not as if when they voted for him in the last elections, he, Bawumia, went back and antagonized them. You get my point? He has not gone back to say, bring my bicycles I gave you, bring my the money I gave you. He has not antagonized them. He still has perfect relationship with them. So on what basis would those delegates do a 360 degrees turnabout? It's not going to happen. But you see, unity is in the hearts of people. Unity is not in signing papers. Just as how peace is in the heart of people. And wickedness is also in the hearts of people.
Yeah. Truth is in the heart of people.
Truth in the hearts of people. No, so if you've not exorcised the pain in people and just call them, come and sign. Yes, they will do it for the optics, but the heart is what would regulate their conduct. Look at the sitting yesterday. The main contenders are Bawumia and Kennedy Agyapong. The arrangement, you saw that there was brine in between the two of them. Now, before yesterday's signing, and you have alluded to it, there were vertebrations that actually came from both camps. For a family member or a member of a political party to move from saying that you are not competent, you can't handle this position, I have done better than you when I was given this position than when you were given this position. To move away from there, and to start calling each other murderers. Hey, Jara. You don't know. Hey. It means that if these people wielded sharp implements, they will stab each other. Me, I'm just drawing a picture. And I've done a lot of conflict resolutions in my position as director of conflict resolution. And sometimes you could just see the anger in people when you are in the room. So I'm speaking from professional experience. So that to move from dealing with the issues and telling the delegates that you are more qualified or you are the preferred choice than your opponent, move from that and begin calling each other. Liar self is an understatement. The liar is better. You were saying liar. But do not call each other murderer. And explicitly mention the people they murdered. You murdered Ameswale. You also murdered No. Mahamadu Bawumia's special assistant died in Wa.
Okay.
Yeah? Who was electrocuted. So I think that they need to do more than just signing documents. It won't work. Yesterday, when they finished, I was monitoring the radio and I heard Miraculous Abuaje and the other guy, Ken Agyapong,
Kwesi
Kweku, and you could see the subtle jabbing, the jabs, particularly coming from Miraculous Aboagye. You know, Miraculous mouth is toxic. You could see the jabs coming. So it is not only between the two of them, it has eaten deep into their followers. But I will advise the NPP to do one thing if they are looking for peace. They should, as quickly as possible, jettison Nana Addo Akufo Addo. Let him take the back seat. Because, look, to be honest with you, the second number two wanted person in Ghana is Nana Addo. When you take away Ken Ofori Atta.
I mean, it's wanted for what?
There's
no... We are not aware of any warrant for his
when I say wanted, not the legal way.
No, because you said after someone.
Yeah,
so.
After. But don't look at it in the legalese.
So how is he wanted?
The pain that Akufo Addo's regime has put in ordinary Ghanaians, I tell you, if Nana Addo leaves his house and takes a walk from his house to the Nima roundabout, he will be accosted by people. You know, a leader is mobbed. There are 3 types of leaders. A leader who is mobbed, a leader who is coming and people are dispersing, and a leader who is coming and people rush on him. Nana Addo is the last one.
They'll rush on him and attack him, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, he will not. People accost him. Oh, there was an old man who said he wants to meet Nana Addo and ask him questions.
Okay.
So what they can do, they may choose not to listen to me, is to let him take a back seat. In a situation like this, in a conflict charged situation like this, where peace was going to be preached. You leave Kufuor. You are lucky you have somebody like Kufuor who can stem the tide. You rather bring him to take charge of the existing situation.
All right.
But you left him. So what I'm saying is that the elections have been rigged already, skewed in favor of Nana Addo, Bawumia. The second thing is that the sign of that peace pact is not going to bring peace actually. And the third is that it will be in the interest of the NPP to let Nana Addo take a back seat. Because his mere presence makes people angry even amongst their own supporters.
Okay. Let me bring Professor Enoch Opoku-Antwi into the conversation. Prof, good morning.
Good morning, Aka, and greetings to my brothers, AB, Kwame, and Ebo at the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, Prof.
Prof, where do you stand on this MPP matter? I mean, it's barely a week to the elections. I mean, the party is still in a difficult place, you'd say?
Aka, I'm not standing at this moment, I'm sitting. So I think the appropriate question will be, where do I sit? Peace Pact. And I like it was Isaiah 57:21. Ebo, now you are reverend. And Kwame added, and AB is also talking about, being hand twisted to sign a peace pact when there has not been any peaceful campaign. So I want to begin this way. We have just about 8 days to the NPP presidential candidate election. And now we have seen that about 211,849 delegates are expected to vote across 333 centers. So you go and look at the data. But before we look at the data, I want to make a quote from Kofi Annan, our own Kofi Annan, who was the former UN Secretary General. He said that to live is to choose. But to choose well, you must know who you are and what you stand for, where you want to go and why you want to get there. So a couple of questions. A choice to win power for NPP. And the question is, can Bawumia win power for them in 2028? The answer is left to the delegates. And as a delegate, you must know what you stand for or who you are. So when they are going to vote, we've heard a lot of money exchanging hands and people talking about the moneycracy. And then the value you bring to the table where you want your party to be in 2028. So the question, the biggest question is, will Bawumia win power for NPP in 2028? But the party leaders have admitted some things, which is really sad. First, they've admitted that the party lacked decorum in the campaign. It means that the campaign did not go right. People were insulting each other here and there. They also admitted that there was lack of unity within the rank and file of the party, and that is visible to everybody. There's lack of discipline and civility in the campaign that we've seen. There are short-term emotions, as given by Afenyo Markin's speech. And then there's no one protecting the party's voice. So because everybody is speaking from different angles, there's no one voice that is protecting the party. And the party is not formidable now, that we all know. There is public confrontations because each of the candidate supporters are confronting each other. There are insult I've talked about that. And there are unsubstantiated allegations. So these are the sins that has come out from the debate. Then the question, there are many questions, lingering questions. Will different outcomes be accepted with humility? If one person wins, will the others accept to campaign for the other person? Because they have battered each other to understand that it's going to be difficult for the other party or the other individual to campaign for the other one if somebody wins. And then will their national project be placed above personal interest? As we sit here, there seems to be a lot of personal interest instead of national interest. And why demonize a rival? That has been the biggest question. We are going for a contest. So why demonize people and talk about their health and talk about a whole lot of lying against each other? Why? And the why is going to lead us to the answers that we are looking for. And will the NDC use these demonized words against NPP in the 2028 elections? The answer is yes, because the internet never forgets. All that they are saying is there. And it's going to be an easy weapon for NDC to use against the NPP in 2028. Now, the national divisions has impacted the governance even if they win. So let's put it this way. The party is fractured. NPP as a party is fractured. They are bleeding from the nose, they are bleeding from the ears and everywhere. Why? Because they started with a top-down approach. And the top-down approach has rigged the election in favor of Bawumia. You don't need to consult an oracle or a prophet or anybody. The election, Bawumia is going to win. Straight up, he's going to win. Why? Because there's a top-down approach. Now, it is like wearing a suit first before the shirt and then the singlet. That's what top-down is. So when you use a top-down approach, in management, it is flawed. In leadership, it is flawed. In governance, it is flawed because you are saying that because I'm the boss, this is what I say. We all have to follow that. And if you're talking about 211,849 people going to vote, and you are using a top-down approach, instead of wearing the singlet first before the shirt and then the suit, top-down approach wears the suit first before the shirt and then the singlet, and that is wrong. The reason why it is wrong is that somebody is not going to be happy about that approach. And when you use top-down approach, even after this peace pact and the election on the 31st of January, what is going to happen is that when Bawumia wins, the national chairman, the national secretary, the first vice, second vice, up to the grassroots, to the constituencies, to the regions, all of that, they are going to pick people who are going to be Bawumia people. So you can see that it trickles down. Once you select a candidate first, before you go to the regionals, to the nationals, to the constituencies, and the wards, what is going to happen is that if Bawumia wins, only those who are aligned to Bawumia are going to be voted for throughout. and you are going to sideline all the other people. That is why it is prudent in politics and governance to start from the grassroots first. So you start from the wards, the constituent polling stations, you start from the constituencies, and then the constituencies will also select the regional executives. The regional executives will select the national executives. Once you do that, then it has been fair from the grassroots. They will select an individual to lead the party, as it is now.
Okay.
That is not what is happening. The other thing is that the convention of the NPP, the darko, has been breached. If you look at their tradition, 24 months before elections, they select their candidate. That means December 2026 would have been the appropriate time. Now they pull it 12 months earlier. Why? Nobody knows. And anytime you want to have a shortcut or you want to use short fixes to solve a problem, which is a long-term problem, then you have an issue. Because what we are going to see now is that they are using ad hoc measures to fix a permanent problem, and that's going to cause the problem. Now I'm going to end here with Kennedy Agyapong. What happened? You see, nobody or anybody could lead a perfect people, if there's any perfect person in the world, but there aren't any perfect people. And any parents who try to raise perfect children are certain to raise neurotics. What this means is that people are not perfect. So I'm not expecting delegates to be perfect. But what I'm expecting is fairness when you want to sign a peace pact. Now, what Ken did was that who goes to sign a peace pact, you sit down before they give you the document to read it. What time do you have to read through, do due diligence before you sign? And you always have to watch something that you are signing because there are fine prints. And you lawyers, you know about fine prints. I call it the unethical part of documents. Most fine prints, you will not have the time to read it, but you sign because you don't have the time. And before you know, it comes back to bite you. So let's look at what they are looking for in the peace pact to secure a firm commitment from all aspirants to maintain calm and respect the outcome of the elections. So that is the objective.
Okay.
Now, the objective is to make sure that each candidate is committed to maintain calm and respect the outcomes after the elections. Then you have to be fair to everybody.
Okay.
You want me to be calm. You are forcing me to sign a document. You want me to be calm after an election when I know it is rigged already in favor of another candidate. Okay. That is not fair.
All right. Thank you very much, Prof. On the point about the Kennedy Agyapong and the document, some explanation has been put out there by his camp. They say that, yes, they got a document prior, but the claim is that there was a provision that was mysteriously removed from the document which was given to Kennedy Agyapong prior. So when he was given a document, he noticed it and he raised concerns about the absence of that provision. And the chairman of the Presidential Election Committee, we are told, apologized and gave an assurance that the correction will be done. We are told that the provision has to do with the Electoral Commission annulling results of voting centers that refuse to do open space counting of ballots. We've not heard officially from the party yet, so we'll leave it at that for now.
You are for waiting and somewhere about to the NPP when I could sign a year flag bearer aspirant 5 flag bearer aspirant no when I could sign a year peace part and then now among for otchere one drink Afenyo year panelist today and Sammy Ato Gyamfi NPP for no otchere the power cause a year problem about NPP party now then same do na ara and a 2 ja because so when you subscribe to channel area but more than say over subscribe now while like video no give us a thumbs up na fee share to all platforms say Ato Forson ebenye bi ahwe na wana hu ensemo ekoso ewo Ghana memo ozo betimi atchere wadwen afa ye nsemo nyina ho ewo comment box ni mu mobeti minkabium in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.